The conversation should be, how do we treat everybody with decency and respect? and respect people's boundaries and give them the opportunity to make those boundaries. And we are living in, I don't normally say this word in training, but we are in a patriarchy, and that negatively affects everybody. And these gendered stereotypes put social pressure on people to behave in certain ways, and particularly men and boys. There are these sexpectations, these unspoken rules that the man is the instigator and he's supposed to essentially harass a woman, and she's supposed to say no. She's supposed to play hard to get. And this social script creates harm, unfortunately. So yeah, we need to empower boys and men to be emotional and to have open conversations and respectful conversations, so that they also have experiences that are fulfilling and joyful and not confusing because they're scared to ask questions because it might show weakness. And I think what's really important is actually understanding what the definition of consent is, because I don't think a lot of people do know. I deliver an 1.5 hour training just on consent because I can talk about it for hours. It's not permission. Permission is different. Permission is transactional, and the way that we talk about consent, it makes it sound transactional. It actually makes it sound like an object. So we have to change our language around consent. And I have been using consent in this interview, but more often than not, I will refer to whether or not we are consenting. Because when we say things like, I have consent, I got consent, I gave consent, it does make it sound like an object that we've passed to someone and that they possess from us, separate to us. And that is not correct. It's not accurate. It's reversible, it's ongoing, which means that someone can only ever be consenting in the moment that the thing is. You can't teach consent, which I realize is ironic coming from a consent educator, but it's the hill I'll die on. You can't teach consent. You can't walk into a classroom or tell kids, this is what consent is, this is how it works, off you go and do it. It has to be role modeled, it has to be shown, and it has to be embodied in every interaction that we have with anyone, not just young people. But it's not something that we have done in the past. So while we have this superficial understanding of what consent is and how it's supposed to work, we don't actually do that or show that, particularly to young people.